Hello, and we are back with a couple special guests that we love to learn from.
And so one of our next secrets is going to be a really smart choice for you all. And it's a lot of people say that would be great if my district knew how. Like, I like what you're saying. I believe in what you're saying. It all makes sense to me. And I've been fighting forever and ever. But our district doesn't believe it, doesn't say, doesn't. And so the third tip for you all is about the Summer Leadership Institute. Um, a lot of times parents are like, how do I teach all this to my school system? You don't have to. And we're really happy to do the heavy lifting around getting your school systems ready to do this work. So if you've never heard of the Summer Leadership Institute, you need to know. I hope you're noticing who's presenting this year. Oh, I don't know, Karamo and me and Christy. I just like to be like, and Shelly and Jonathan and Bettina, you know, some of our good friends. Oh, and Judy Human. No big deal. And Otto Lana. He's not on here, but he's presenting too. Anyways, all of these folks are going to be presenting. And the Summer Leadership Institute is a 3-day, how do you create inclusive schools for 3 straight days. And it's all recorded. And your district can have access to it forever, for a year. I guess we're doing this next year.
Yeah.
And so that is something you should know about. And you should help your educators and administrators know about it if they don't already.
And then let's see if there's any questions, Julie. I'll put the letter in the chat. Again, the letter comes to you in your email also. So if you're like, well, how could I talk to my administrator, director of special ed, or CSC chair, or whatever it might be, we've got a draft letter that you can build on. And then, Charmaine, maybe you could pop in and tell them how we're going to do the giveaway for the T-shirt and the SLI pass. And then, Julie, let me know if you want to go to the 4th secret that's a bonus.
I do, but before that, a lot of people are saying, is it just for schools? And it's not. It's for families too. We have a buy the seat price for families. Why we're talking about it to you all is it is so useful if your whole district gets a license, because then all the teachers and all the administrators start to understand what's inclusion. Why is it the law? What does it look like? How do I do it? All of the parts and pieces necessary to get a school much more inclusive. But yes, families come to it also.
Yeah, so we've got, I know Kim's been at it before from Iowa, and Angela, I don't know if you've been to the Summer Institute, but yeah, there's so much information that families can use. And I was talking to Julie beforehand, and I said, that district license is so important because they can send 12 people, virtually 12 people can be, partaking in it. But then they also can share all that information for up to a year and use that for their professional development curriculum, right?
Right. That's what a lot of people do is they use it for the whole year. So they'll have the Shelley Moore piece or Christie's and My Secrets. We're going to give away hundreds of secrets, which are going to be very carefully laid out, which will be a step-by-step guide to make your school inclusive, right? And so that alone is worth just the price of admission. And then we've got all these other inspirational speakers too that will be teaching us some of the mindset pieces, not only the skill set pieces.
Yeah, so don't worry if you don't have 3 days. Don't worry if you're back to school. Don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're going to miss one of them. Doesn't matter if you're on the beach. But check out the landing page for the SLI. I'll put the chat in the link, and Charmaine will put it up on the screen. Just there's a whole little FAQ there at the bottom of that page that ends with SLI 22. And you're like, well, what's recorded? How do I get the recording? Who can access the recording? And what if I'm zoomed out? What will the schedule look like? And Julie and I were just working on the schedule again. I hope tomorrow we'll have it even further unpacked, so you'll know exactly when Bettina is presenting, exactly when Karamo's presenting, exactly when Otto's on tap, so that you can pick and choose as your life and allows you. And to be honest, I think the only session that won't be recorded this year will be Bettina's. Anyone that's been to SLI knows that that's just her policy. So you'll want to make sure that you earmark that. But otherwise, everyone else will be recorded, and you can play it back, like Julie said, when it makes sense, when you want that concept, when you want to onboard new staff, when you want to be inspired, when it's Rocktober, when you need it in February, whatever you might need. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, Kimberly said I was able to attend in 2020. It was incredible. Namita, I didn't know you're here. She said, yes, summer leadership is the absolute best 3-day conference I have attended on inclusive education. It's amazing. And so Christian asked a really interesting question. How do I get this written into my IEP? The district says they can't. Well, we've never seen the SLI written in an IEP. However, a lot of times when people say that they can't include a student, what we say is it because they need more training? And when they say yes to that, you can indeed put training into the IEP.
Yes.
Now,
Training for families, training for educators. Yes.
Yes. And so I wouldn't probably name the SLI in an IEP, the Summer Leadership Institute, in an individualized education plan, but you can suggest that if people need training, they can get it. And the other thing that people should know about is Christy and I do this big 3-day event. We love it. It's so incredible. And we also every single day are working in schools with schools in doing customized stuff. So just because they can't do the SLI, it doesn't mean that they couldn't work with us in a different way, in a more customized way. So it's really smart to connect us, because this is what we do, is train educators how. And I have to admit, my heart breaks every time we hear from a parent that says, I'm trying so hard to convince my system that they need to become more inclusive, and they're doing it just through the IEP, because it is a starting place and a very powerful one, don't get me wrong, but you do need more support sometimes to make it happen.
Right. Yeah. And the way I was thinking of it, Julie, because folks are like, wait, is it for parents? So this is how I think of it, y'all. This is a journey, and there needs to be a little bit more urgency on many school districts' sense of urgency. Sometimes it's a goal. We're going to become more inclusive. We're going to start with our 5th grade. The next year we'll add 4th grade. The next year we'll add 3rd grade. Okay, but you've got these kids in your care today. And by excluding or secluding, we know what we can predict by way of those outcomes. So we're actually doing harm if we don't have a sense of urgency. Now, does that mean we just throw kids in and hope for the best? Absolutely not. So our intention was good. We were inclusive. We pulled the Band-Aid off, Julie and Christy. We went for it. But the impact was still that kids didn't get what they needed. So SLI is a place where you can get inspired, get everybody on the same page about what are we doing, what does it look like. We have schools that say to us sometimes, do you mean inclusion like for a room? Or do you mean every classroom? We're like, oh, yes, every classroom. But that can be mind-blowing for many people. So the way that parents come, you are part of the team. You are part of the partnership. You are part of this change. Whether people listen to you or not is secondary, right? So we love it. It's not like that there's specific training for a particular group, like speech language therapists. There's not like a breakout session for SLPs. And it's much more everyone. I don't know if that helps a little bit, but it's like, if we want to create an inclusive school, y'all, this is what we all need to be thinking about, doing, and supporting. And everyone needs to be confident in that journey. I don't know.
The last time we were on with you, Charmaine, I think we shared our definition of inclusion.
Right.
But we can put it in there again if people want it, meaning it's just a single page definition of inclusion that we think really helps. Because Brooke said it's scary that it has to be explained, right? And it does have to be explained. And that's the hardest part, is we do have to help school systems know what we mean by inclusive education, okay? And so since you put it up, I'll just read the first 2 parts just so everybody kind of hears it. Inclusive education means we no longer accept that separate classrooms, separate schools, and separate lives are in the best interest of any student. Separating people by ability, disadvantages everyone. Belonging is a human need. Our educational system, practices, and spaces need to be reimagined. Do you want to read the next part, Christy?
Okay. Inclusive education means every student is valued because of their strengths, gifts, and even their challenges, as disability is simply diversity. Everyone benefits from meaningful participation and opportunities to learn grade level content with diverse peers. We must trust that all students come to us as incredible whole people who do not need to be fixed.
And we won't go into it, but at the bottom part of that definition is all the required parts. So you can't just like do inclusion really quickly, and you also can't take 2 years to start. It's kind of it's somewhere in between that, and that's what we help people do with urgency, because these are children's lives.
Well, and I think for families looking at going to the Institute, you will get so many rich resources, more than even Julie and Christy have been giving us today. And so when you are having conversations and teachers are saying, but what would that look like? I don't understand that. You can say, you know what? I've got this great article, or I know this video that Otto did, or, and so you will be able to explain some of those hows to teachers when you attend these types of trainings and professional development. So it is so important for families to be able to do that. So we will be having a drawing, and you might be the lucky winner of a free ticket to the Summer Leadership Institute. So if you have made a comment today, you are entered. I won't do the drawing until Friday evening, April 1st, but it's not an April Fool's joke. Midnight Eastern time, I will draw, and I'll come on live so you can see me draw the winning name. And today at the end, so just in a few minutes here, we'll have a drawing for a new inclusive schooling t-shirt and Julie and Christy are modeling a couple of them.
I was going to say, Charmaine, when you were introducing us, I was like, and you can add model.
That's true. That's true. That can be on your resume now.
I'm going to add that.
So yes, so keep your comments, questions coming. But yeah, I really encourage families to seek, sometimes your parent training information centers have scholarships available. You can check with the ARC in your state. Sometimes they have scholarships. Different Down syndrome groups, things like that, I know have scholarships a lot of time. So be creative. There are ways that we can seek out funding, and
right.
I'll be putting some of those ideas in the newsletter too. So
and we have a scholarship too that I could put. But Julie really wants to be able to share one more thing, and people have been so great about hanging out. Let's do that, Jewel.
Yes. So our shirts are available. I'm sort of seeing people asking questions. Our shirts are available on the website. Oh, you're doing that first?
I'll do that. Okay. I'll just put it in the chat.
Okay. And somebody said, where do I get, Snow Parrot said, where do I get the definition of inclusion? So put that in there one more time, Christy.
Okay.
And then this one is a fourth surprise that Christy and I decided on today. And we decided to share with you this fourth surprise because it just became ready today. And what it is we have a landing page for families about how do I help my school become more inclusive. So we have places where you can schedule a brainstorming session with us, and that is the downloadable poster of the inclusive education. There's a way to get your schools connected to us. And then as Christy goes down, you'll see we've got a segment on IEP supports. And we've got an app called iAdvocate, and we've got a bunch more legal information. And we have that checklist of supplemental aid supports and services. And then as Christy scrolls down, you'll see Charmaine's name right there. Sometimes when we're working with a family, we say, you need Charmaine. And so we'll be sort of supporting Charmaine, and we kind of work together. We've got Pat Radel and Darlene Hansen and Ashley Lyon and Lauren Searon all ready to support you in different ways. So we have more resources and more resources and more resources and more
It just kind of
resources.
keeps going. You
And
can
they're
learn
all
about
free.
SLI.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. The end.
Ta-da.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so that will be such a rich and valuable resource for people to download, bookmark it, share it with other families. So thank you so much. You guys, I don't know how you sleep, because when I hear that Julie's written another book, Christy's written another book, it's like I wrote one book and I was like, okay, I can say I wrote a book. You guys keep coming up. So, what is the title of the new book? And I'm an ASCD member, so I should know this. When do you
Well,
think it
it's
will
okay.
be
It hasn't been
published?
advertised yet. We just turned it in the other
Okay.
day. And sometimes I get
But
the title wrong. So I'm going to check it
I
really
won't.
fast.
I won't get it wrong. It's called
Okay.
The Way to Inclusion.
Nope. You
Yes,
wrote
it is.
that
The
the
way,
other day. And I said, oh, maybe I'm wrong then, Julie.
Christy, it's called The Way to Inclusion. What do you think it's called?
I'm just looking at the book cover.
Okay, The Way to Inclusive School System. I mean, that's close enough. See,
So it will be a while before it comes out, and the title might change. Sometimes titles change.
Thanks,
thank
Charmaine.
you, Charmaine. That's right. The title might change, but it's essentially a step-by-step guide for school systems to become more inclusive. It is awesome. I'm more proud of this book than any other book we've written, hands down by far. And we will
Wow.
learn the title soon, but it's not out
Soon.
yet.
I think yours
Don't
is
look for it yet.
easier, Julie. I like that. It's faster. And I thought, oh, she changed it. And then let's give away a t-shirt.
Let's give away a t-shirt.
Christy,
Go
this
ahead,
is where my global to specific, this to me is the same thing. It's the same, but to you it's not. Thank you, Karen, for laughing. Oh. Okay, so let's give away a t-shirt right now.
Yes.
So what we need, I'll show it. We're gonna need them to contact me, but I'm gonna need to know what color do you want? Do you want a V-neck, a crew neck, what size? So just be prepared. This is our signature tee for the Summer Leadership Institute, and it says, I would rather be excluded for who I include than included for who I exclude. That's our signature tee for this year's SLI, but there's all kinds of shirts. Do you have a favorite, Charmaine?
Well, the one that you're wearing today, I really like.
Right,
Communication is the right. Or what's the non-compliance one?
Yeah, non-compliance is a life skill.
Yeah. I gotta order that one.
That's a good one.
That's pretty awesome, right? Yeah, and then we've got the Rainbow Everyone Belongs. We have the one called Presume Inclusion, which is really good to wear to an IEP meeting, right?
Yes.
Inclusive AF, and
Just
then
might be good for a meeting too.
Yeah, so this is what we've got going on. So if you win, you can say, I want a mug, I want a t-shirt, I need this size, I want a hat. Lots of choices.
Cool. Well, fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my eyes, even take off my glasses.
Whoa.
And I'll scroll through. We have a lot of comments today, so I'm going to try and get through with scrolling, and I will stop, and that person will be our lucky winner. So, did you hear my little sound? I guess I should play that when I've picked the winner. I meant to play the drum roll.
Well, it's hard when your eyes are closed to do all of the effects.
I know. Are people getting busy? I don't know if probably the viewers.
We don't see the scroll.
We can't see your screen, right. So you're okay.
So
you could be cheating and we wouldn't know.
Abby's from Kentucky. You are the lucky winner of the t-shirt. Yay. And Abby is one of our trailblazers. We have a monthly membership group. She's with us, and she has been advocating very hard for her daughter. So, well, that's great. So, share this with other people. Share this video. I mean, you just got an hour packed with tips and strategies that can be shared with others. So make sure that this is part of our collective advocacy, that we are sharing resources and tips with other families and educators. So make sure you share it. And also, if you're not on my weekly newsletter and you want to sign up, tomorrow I'll put one out with all the links and resources that Julie and Christy have shared today, with a summary of the show notes and other links. So make sure you can also get that. So what else do we? I think we are.
Maybe the last thing, sorry, Charmaine,
Yeah.
the last thing might be just to put the letter in one more time, because the letter is, a lot of people ask us, how do I share this information with my school system? And so this letter, we put together our best thinking to say, maybe by giving this letter, emailing it to them, it'll get the conversation started. And then people can come to the SLI from your whole district, which would be the goal.
Right, right. I mean, that would be amazing. And one of the other things that I was thinking about is a lot of districts still have COVID money that they haven't used. So this would be like an excellent way for them to spend their money and be able to, educate everyone. And then also look at if your district wants a contract with Julie and Christy, so they can individualize the training for your district. So that's also available. So, well, thank you all for being here today, Julie and Christy. I know that you're probably off to some other state in a few minutes here.
Illinois.
Illinois, we're headed to Illinois next week.
Illinois, cool. So thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week on my weekly show, and also that we can see each other in August at the Summer Leadership Institute. So take care, and we will be around next Thursday too.